Hello everyone, and welcome to, well, yet another RTS game that I played during my childhood. This is called Empire Earth, and of the two games that were on the top of my list as best games out of my childhood, this would definitely make the number 2. It's not nearly as well as known as an RTS as most. I must say the graphics in this are not the best. This is probably one of the first 3D RTS games ever made. I believe it came out early 2000s, sometime around there. Back when most RTS games were still in 2 dimensions at the time, and the graphics leave a lot to be desired. But this was a pioneer at the time, so you gotta forgive it for that. The reason why this game is so good, in my opinion, is it has a lot of variety. Instead of just the typical few ages of history that you can go through, this game actually tends to explore all of them. You can go all the way from the prehistoric age all the way up until the very future with robots and flying cars and all that sort of thing. I'm not really too sure about the flying cars, but I know for a fact there's robots. I've always really loved this game also because it's not as easy. This game has a campaign that is actually tough as nails once you get to the ending episodes, and there's no way to cheat in the campaign either. I've already actually recorded some videos of this campaign that I just recently mentioned, and I'll definitely upload some of them soon. But first, I just decided I'd make this as an introduction. It's just me and a computer player against 2 enemy computer players. I was playing on a moderate difficulty. There's only 3 difficulties. There's easy, which is extremely easy, not a challenge at all. There's moderate, which is pretty much for the casual gamer. It can be a challenge, especially if there's more computers on the field than you. And there's hard, which, unless you're very, very experienced and been playing this game for a long time, you don't have a chance of beating. So that's why I decided to play on moderate. And whether I win or not, that will come on later. I will say that my ally played surprisingly well, and probably was by far the best player on my team. My ally far outperformed me, and actually really helped defend my base. My ally decided it would be a good idea to wall off all the areas of the map, except for the very top where I had to make a little wall because my ally neglected that part. But for the most part, my ally was very helpful and very good, and kind of helped me up. Because this was the first random map that I had played in this game in around 7 or 8 years, I wasn't really at the top of my game at the time. I had just come fresh off beating a few of the campaign missions. I have been working my way steadily through the campaign. This game has 4 campaigns, one in ancient times, one in the Middle Ages, one in modern times, and one in the future, which is all pretty nice. And I've been playing through the ancient times one a little bit, which is also the easiest, and one of the scenarios that I was playing on the missions was actually quite difficult. So I'm really looking forward to playing more of this campaign and possibly uploading it, and maybe other people will remember this game too. I know it doesn't have quite the nostalgia factor as other RTS games were, because they used to be really big back in the day, but this one wasn't as well known. Anyway, actually, I don't know if it was just one or a couple of the developers. A couple of the guys on the team of this game actually worked for Age of Empires as well, so it definitely takes some hints from that game, other than the fact that it's in 3D and has way more ages. There's also 5 resources in this game. There's food, wood, stone, gold, and iron. The iron is pretty useful. It's made for making most of the military units. It's also quite expensive to advance up from age to age. If you're planning on going the full route and starting at prehistoric age and advancing all the way up to the very last age, it's going to be quite a journey. It's going to cost a lot of resources. There's also an Empire Earth 2 and 3. I haven't played 3 personally, but I've heard it's rubbish compared to the first 2, and it's still a good game. This is just going off what I've heard from other people that have played it. They say it's a good game, but not nearly as good as the first 2. And this is really the one that I remember, the original Empire Earth. The second Empire Earth is it has a lot of similarities, but it's also got some drawbacks that I just feel like the first game was by far the widest and the most expansive game. Here I just advanced the Imperial Age, whereas that's the age after the Renaissance. It's like the Napoleonic Age, if you will. I don't really know a better word to describe it. The game I was playing, we were going from the Renaissance age, which is the age that follows the Castle Middle Ages, where there's knights and swords and all that. So you first start getting guns and artillery instead of guys on horses. And then the ending age, I had World War II. They have World War I and World War II as ages, as I think although they weren't significantly long time periods, I think that's a pretty fair a fair time to call them, because that's when the real significant advances in military technology happened, is during World War I and World War II. As tends to happen in wars, there's a lot of advances in military technology. I thought I selected actually to go up to the modern age as well, because you can get like stealth bombers and nuclear weapons and that sort of thing, but that I must have selected the wrong option in the options screen. So anyways, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I'm thinking, kind of pondering over my mind, maybe I might do a live commentary of this game, so basically play either a random map or a scenario. I'll probably play a random map and just live commentate it. I don't think you can play this game online. I'm not quite sure. There might be some method to play it online, but I don't imagine a whole lot of people would play, considering it's been like over 10 years since this game came out, and the graphics are quite poor. Although what you're seeing right here, this is pretty much as good as the graphics are going to get, because I had all the max settings on. This is one of the few games where I can play the graphics all on max settings and record in widescreen HD, and it still doesn't lag, which is quite nice. That's another reason why I really like to play this game. Even during the heat of battle, where there's a whole bunch of units attacking each other, the game did not lag at all, and I thought that was amazing. That's another reason why I really want to record this game again. I definitely will, with all the campaigns and stuff. I'm getting really excited to move past the prehistoric campaign, the Greek campaign, because even though it's very well written as a campaign and quite difficult and challenging, it's just a lot more fun to mow over enemies with tanks than with, you know, bowmen and horse archers, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And actually, in this game, I was the first one to advance in World War II, World War I, that age. So I was able to get bombers before anyone else even had their own fighters or air defense at all. I don't believe you can build anti-air until the World War I age. I believe there's actually a unit that you can build at your barracks in like the age before World War I that can shoot at planes, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I was able to attack both the enemy players for quite a long time with my bombers, and they just couldn't do anything about it because they were still stuck in whatever age it was, the atomic industrial age, I believe, is what comes before World War I. So they were stuck in that age, and they weren't really able to do a whole heck of a lot against my bombers because, you know, I had planes and they didn't. That's really a great strategy in war, just get out-technology your opponents, and I think that's really what started turning the tides of battle. My enemy had made a few attacks on my villagers and killed off my villagers a couple times, and I had to rebuild, which was kind of annoying. I had a gold mine and an iron mine that were pretty close to the front lines, and the enemies were able to place snipers on the other side of a tree line because snipers can shoot through trees and just pick off my villagers. There's also a couple units which can walk through trees, which is great for harassing villagers, so just be aware if you ever end up playing this game yourself that trees are not like most strategy games where they offer complete protection, because there are a few units that can just walk right through them, which is actually pretty useful. My strategy in this game was just to build machine gunners, because machine guns are really good at taking out infantry, and howitzers, which are kind of like cannons. Upgraded cannons, obviously. Upgraded World War II version of cannons, because I am in World War II at the moment. And I was using the howitzers to take down their buildings, because you can upgrade the stats on all units in this game to an extent. You can't fully upgrade all their stats. They only allow you a certain amount of upgrades. But I basically gave my cannons really long range, and then they're just able to pick off the enemy defensive buildings, such as towers and stuff, without much of a problem at all. And luckily, the two enemies in this game never got technology advanced enough to build aircraft, or even if they did advance to World War I and World War II, which I think they ended up doing eventually, they never built aircraft. So that was pretty nice. My bombers never really had any fighters to shoot them down, and my ally did build quite a bit of fighters, and those are really nice for taking down villagers and stuff like that that can't really fight back. One really annoying thing about aircraft, and I guess it's more of a balance issue, because aircraft are really powerful against ground units, and ground units can't really do a whole hell of a lot. They just die, versus aircraft. Aircraft can only fly a certain distance, and then they have to go back to refuel at the airfield, and so you can't just use them in battle forever until you get helicopters, but those don't come until later. So anyways, this is the part of the video where it's kind of the enemies are all mopped up. I really wanted to show the stats at the end and just show how many kills I got and all that sort of thing, but for whatever reason, Fraps decided to stop recording near the end of this video, and I didn't really realize it, so Unfortunately, I was not able to get the stats screen in here, but this is pretty much where the game ended anyway. This is the last holdout of the enemy. I believe one of the computers had already resigned at this point, and the other one just had a town center or capital, whatever they're called, and a few towers and villagers, and I was able to take them out pretty easily. I had my machine gunners go in there, and then they mopped up the last of the enemy forces. So anyways, if you enjoyed this game, there's going to be lots more to come, probably more scenario-related videos of this game in the near future. But anyways, this game is an absolute blast to play. I would highly recommend it for anyone who enjoys real-time strategy games. It's definitely one of my favorites, one of my top 2, in fact. And I had a lot of fun playing this random map, and possibly might live commentate one in the future and make a super long video, although I probably need some time to do that. Anyway, that's all, and farewell.